Thank you so much for taking the time, Mr. Koenig. You said so much warm words yesterday at the stage because you told us that you got millions of requests for conventions, but you say, this is it, we have to go to Bonn, we have to go to FedCon. If you can give us this again for the camera, how important it is for you being here at FedCon.
Okay. Tell me when.
Yes, you can.
In 1992, I was invited to FedCon, to come to Germany to do a convention. I was waffling about that prospect. I had grown up during the Second World War, and I had come to believe that everything German was negative, hostile, evil, and the people were born that way. That's we do that. We do that throughout, throughout history. Genghis Khan and his like were all evil, et cetera, et cetera. Stalin was evil, and all of his troops were. It goes on like that. But I had actually experienced it. I witnessed it live. So I had a very strong conditioned reaction to Germany. And I did not want to go. I turned down an invitation or two. I finally, because I was also getting older, and I thought perhaps I have something to learn. God knows I shouldn't be finished learning at the age of 45. So we went. The addendum or the footnote is that I'm Jewish. So we came to Augsburg, Bavaria, and the very first morning there was a breakfast. And I sat down with everybody else, and at one juncture, they asked me to say something. And I was determined to let it be known, not defiantly, I just wanted them to let it be known that I was Jewish. So I threw it into the conversation. And I got no reaction. I didn't get people biting their lips, biting their tongue, looking away. I didn't get anything. I did not get a reaction. And I began to think, what am I learning from this? And over the course of that weekend, what I learned was that people are a product. First of all, we're all born with the same genetic makeup. We all know that survival is the primary instinct for all animals and all humans. We have to survive. And in order to survive, we have genes that can be activated to help us understand people, help us work with people, help us cooperate, help us build together. But we also have genes that protect us in case we are threatened. And those genes are in everybody. It's just a matter of how they are manipulated and how they are exercised over the course of generations and decades and cultures. And I found out, to my utter joy, so I didn't have to hate the German people. I didn't have to hate them. The people who, turned away, that closed their eyes, that looked the other way, that weren't even involved in what the Gestapo and the Nazis did, that was one thing and one time and one era. It was not what I was now being exposed to. And I felt how wonderful that I can find people that I don't have to manufacture a friendship. I don't have to repress an anger. I can just take on as they are. And as soon as I began to understand that, and make it even more so, they were also reinforcing. They were also friendly. It was just amazing. But as soon as I began to understand that, I began to be able to extrapolate. that's the way these people are, what about some other people that I had no experience with? What about, you know, I mean, I never was a racist. I never believed myself to be a racist, and I wasn't. But I would draw impressions about groups of people based on individuals, which is a terrible mistake to make. You know, you just say those people, you know. So I learned over the course of these last 30, 40 years to be more tolerant, to be more available to other points of view, to understand that there are still bad people, but everywhere. And no circumstance points that up more in bolder neon lights than what's happening in the United States. You know, we've got people running for government, for president, who are abysmal failures, who have no right. And what's scary about that is not that they exist, but they're people who believe them. And that's what we have to be careful about. We cannot let that happen where you believe the Trumps and the Ted Cruzes and those people. And that scares me. I mean, I'm way off the subject now, but I'm telling you what I feel and what's important to me at this moment. When Obama was made president, I thought, I lived to see this. I lived to see an African American become president. I was so overjoyed and so overwhelmed. And I certainly don't regret his presidency. Not everything worked out. And a lot of things didn't work out because the people who have prejudices and are racist came out of the woodwork and tried to thwart him. Now I'm hoping, against hope, that this next presidency will be either Bernie Sanders or Clinton, Hillary Clinton. Not because they're perfect, but because they're at least a step in the right direction. A step that I first learned about in my own heart when I came to visit Germany. And now I can see it everywhere, and I can see what it does to Americans. Don't let anybody tell you that there's no racism in America. We're loaded with racism. It's everywhere. And the people who your friends are and you talk to, they slip. And then they tell you how they really feel. So Germany did that for me. It took me from a place of hate and anger and really an unequivocal sense of negativity to an enlightenment that allowed me to see the whole world in a different way.